friends, welcome to my channel. So today's video lecture is on beta blockers, which is our last video lecture in autonomic nervous system series, okay? So finally it's getting over. But yes guys, pay attention, it is very important topic and you cannot go to any dental entrance exam before revising this, okay? This topic needs revisions. So do revise it and strengthen your concepts. I am trying to make it as easy and as simplified as I can, okay? And don't forget to follow me over Instagram and Facebook where we are doing daily image-based questions which might help you a lot. And to get a free PDF of any of my video lectures, you can get it from Telegram. So now, any further ado, let's get started. So first of all, to understand the beta blockers, we should know where the beta receptors are present, right? So beta 1 receptor is present on heart, beta 2 are mainly present on lungs, and beta 2 are also present on blood vessels. But just to remember it, we have one heart, so beta 1 is present on heart, we have two lungs, that's why beta 2 is present on lungs. As well as beta 2 is present on skeletal muscles and in the blood vessels as well, okay? Blood vessels पे vasodilatation is an important effect of beta 2 via beta 2 receptors, okay? So what will our beta blockers do, right? They will decrease the force of contraction in the heart, they will decrease the rate of contraction, and they will decrease the renin secretion, right? And on the airway, it will increase the airway resistance, which means it causes bronchoconstriction. And on the blood vessel, it increases the vascular resistance via vasoconstriction, okay? Now, the classification of beta blockers is very important. They are very famously known as olols, okay? In this group of drugs, beta blockers, we have olols at the end, okay? So this is the peculiar identity of beta blockers, and they are divided into three generations, first, second and third, okay? First generation, they are non-selective, which means they act on beta 1 and beta 2 both. Second generation are they act on beta 1 receptors, okay? Exclusively on beta 1 receptors. They have no effect on beta 2 receptors. And third generations, they are beta 1 selective and non-selective. We are gonna study all these three generations and its drug, its mnemonics, everything in detail, okay? So moving forward, first generation was non-selective beta blockers, okay? So our mnemonic for first generation beta blocker is all protein oxpegia. It's very funny, but it's a psychological fact that our mind can memorize the funny things better, okay? So I hope it will stick to your brain like anything. So from all we have alpranolol. Protein, we have three drugs in this protein part, okay? So pro se propranolol, T say timolol, and N say nadolol, then oxprenolol, and then pindolol, okay? So these six drugs are into this non-selective beta blockers, which is our first generation. So the important effects of these non-selective beta blockers are they decreases the myocardial energy demand, okay? And they also decreases the blood pressure due to blockade of beta 1 receptors, okay? Beta 1 mainly heart पे ही था, and coronary vasoconstriction can occur due to the blockade of beta 2 receptor. Remember, it causes vasoconstriction, right? So that's why these non-selective beta blockers are useful in classical angina. Now, classical angina is also known as stable angina, and it is guys, basically what happens in classical angina is that a heart attack might occur while a person is active, okay, while he is running or during an emotional distress moment, okay? So in such cases, what we found commonly is this, which is stable angina, and the main cause for which it is atherosclerosis. As you can see, the atheromatous plaque deposit inside the blood vessel. Okay, so in such cases our non-selective beta blockers are useful. Okay, why? Because it decreases the oxygen demand. Okay, whereas in the variant angina, okay, these beta blockers, non-selective beta blockers particularly, are contraindicated in variant angina. Variant angina might occur in the rest position also, and it mainly occurs due to the coronary artery spasm. Now you see, in such condition, if we give beta blockers, तो beta blockers क्या करेंगे? They will do the vasoconstriction of the coronary arteries and it will worsen this condition. Okay, that's why beta blockers are contraindicated in variant angina, whereas they are used for classical or stable angina. Okay, we are not talking about unstable angina here at all. Now this contraindication of non-selective beta blockers are easy mnemonic is ABCD. ठीक है, A से asthma, they are contraindicated in asthma because it causes bronchoconstriction. So asthma में वो नहीं चलेगा. It is contraindicated in atrioventricular block as well as in the chronic heart failure and in the diabetes. In diabetes, these non-selective beta blockers mask the signs of hypoglycemia. Okay, hypoglycemia is commonly observed in diabetic patients receiving insulin and oral hypoglycemic drugs. So symptoms of hypoglycemia, like you can see tachycardia, okay, increased heart rate, sweating and tremors. Basically these symptoms are masked by our beta blockers. Okay, and non-selective beta blockers to be precise, and that's why we don't give this group of drugs in diabetic condition. Okay, they are contraindicated, so do understand it. Then we have cardioselective beta blockers, which are of second generation. These agents are preferred in patients with diabetes, bronchial asthma, peripheral vascular disease and hyperlipidemia. Why? Because they exclusively act on beta 1 receptor, which is on heart. So all these group of drugs are exclusively used for the heart diseases, okay? And so they are not contraindicated in other conditions. So the easy mnemonic to remember this is new beta blockers acting exclusively at myocardium, okay, as its action as its mnemonic. Okay, so please go through all the drugs and do remember it. Guys, I want to give you an easy tip to revise all these drugs. Make a chart and stick it in front of your study table. I might have said this earlier also, but for the pharma you have to do it. So whenever you feel tired or when you have 5-10 minutes, just revise it quickly. Okay, revise the mnemonic and then revise the drugs. More revisions, more better you can understand. Now the advantages of cardioselective beta blockers, which is our second generation beta blocker, that it is safe in asthma, it is safe in diabetes, it is safe in peripheral vascular diseases, it is less likely to impair exercise capacity, okay, and because of its no effect on beta 2 receptors, and it has less risk of hyperglycemia and less risk of dyslipidemia also. Now beta blockers with intrinsic sympathomimetic activity. These group of drugs are partial agonist at beta 1, okay, which means they do not act fully as a sympathomimetic drug, but it has certain actions of sympathomimetic drugs. Okay, so our easy mnemonic for which is contain partial agonistic activity. Okay, and these are the group of drugs in it. Now where these partial agonists are used? They are used for hypertensive patient with moderate bradycardia. Okay, then beta blockers with membrane stabilizing activity. So here our easy mnemonic is this only: possesses membrane stabilizing or local anesthetic property. Okay, these drugs possesses sodium channels blocking, just like our local anesthetic, okay? It can contribute to arrhythmic action. It is avoided in glaucoma due to the risk of corneal anesthesia. Guys, why we are studying it? Because इसमें से MCQ आते हैं, okay? They ask like, which of the following beta blockers do not have membrane stabilizing activity? So you need to know कि कौन कौन सी ऐसी ड्रग है जो membrane stabilizing activity देती है, ठीक है? ऐसे कौन कौन से ड्रग्स हैं जो partial agonist to beta 1 action है उनके, ठीक है? So this is for our MCQ which we are preparing, okay? Now, lipid insoluble beta blockers, okay? So for which we have mnemonic, which is not soluble ABC. So these group of drugs, they are lipid insoluble and they are excreted via kidney, so they are contraindicated in renal failure, okay? And all these group of drugs, they are having extensive long duration of action. So ये भी MCQ में आता है that which of the following beta blockers are contraindicated in renal failure? So you need to know this group of drugs, the name to be precise, okay? And that's why I'm giving you mnemonic for each and every action, okay? It will help you a lot to solve MCQs better and quicker with confidence. Now coming to the third generation beta blockers, they have vasodilatory property due to the alpha blockade and they possesses beta 2 agonism, okay? Which means they favors the action of beta 2 receptor, okay? And they have alpha blockade property. So end result is it causes vasodilatation. How it will cause vasodilatation? It has a different mechanisms as we can see, okay? Either as a alpha blocker and via release of nitrous oxide, that is nebivolol. Guys, this drug is important, okay? Via potassium channel opener, we have tilisolol, and via calcium channel blocker, we have carvedilol, biventolol and bitaxolol. And via beta 2 agonist, we have celiprolol, carteolol and bupindolol. So MCQ में ये भी आता है that which of the following drugs is beta 2 agonist, okay? So that's why there are a lot of drugs which you have to remember from this beta blocker video lecture, okay? एंड मेनली MCQs इसमें से जो आते हैं वो ड्रग्स के होते हैं या तो उसके एक्शंस के ऊपर होते हैं. सो आई हैव ट्राइड टू गिव यू इनफ mnemonics so that it can stick to your brain and you can remember it easily. Now to summarize, what are the uses of beta blockers, okay? In which conditions we give beta blockers, okay? So in conditions like hypertension, classic angina, myocardial infarction, arrhythmias, chronic heart failure, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy and mitral valve prolapse, we give beta blockers because of its beta 1 blockade, okay? Which means our second generation beta blockers would be effective in all these conditions, okay? And then beta blockers with extra cardiac effects, okay, due to the beta 2 blockade. So we can give it into pheochromocytoma, which is a tumor of adrenal medulla, okay, and in the hyperthyroidism, in the performance anxiety, in tremors, akathisia, prophylaxis of migraine, glaucoma and alcohol and opioid withdrawal. In all these conditions also we prescribe beta blockers. So guys, this was all about beta blockers, and you can DM me your specific troubling topic, okay, on my Instagram or Facebook. I'll try to simplify it and I'll try to make a video for you guys as soon as I can, and stay tuned. Thanks for watching.